This is the English 2.0 podcast. Communicate globally. Raise your level. Speak English naturally. Hello and welcome to another episode of the English 2.0 podcast, the only podcast that goes beyond the words and phrases. We talk about successful mindset. We talk about principles that'll lead you to all of the success that you want to achieve all of your goals as they relate to English, your business, and your life. So thank you so much for watching today. My name is Al. We've got some birds joining us here today, so thank you so much. And today we're gonna get into episode number 29. Wow. And we're gonna talk about a very interesting topic, one that I hear about from many students, a kind of concern that I hear, and it is about how to respond more quickly. And we will talk about that in greater depth in just a moment. And we'll have a quick tip later about note-taking, so stay tuned for that, coming up later. But first I wanted to start by just sharing a little experience that I had. I went to Taiwan recently, to the city of Taipei, and had a great time there. Went there with my family, took them to the Taipei Zoo, which is a fantastic zoo if you ever have the chance to visit. It's a huge place. They have a great panda exhibit. So I highly recommend that. We went to a wonderful park right in the city called Da'an Park, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And a hot spring resort, which was very nice. So a good time to relax with the family. And we had a great time in Taipei. Wonderful food, of course. And so please, if you have a chance, visit Taipei. I really, really recommend it. All right, now on to our main topic today. We'll get right to it. So again, this is how to respond more quickly in conversation or in any kind of situation. All right, so yeah, I do hear a lot of people, a lot of students struggling with this. And I've really tried to help people about this, tried to give them good answers, good helpful tips and advice. And I've had to really, really think about this because it seems like such a small thing, but actually the more I think about it, it's kind of a really big topic. There's a lot of different angles and factors to think about when talking about responding in conversation. So I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 basic steps on how to think about or how to approach this challenge. And so I'd like to go over those today and then give you a 3-step action plan on how to achieve better response time, to increase your response time. Number 1, I think we first must understand what we are hearing from the other person. So in other words, listening comprehension is very important for the first step. Okay, so when somebody asks us a question or makes a comment, are we understanding it properly? If we can't understand them properly, we have no chance to respond. Okay, there's absolutely no chance. So, as we've talked about before in previous episodes and on the blog, this kind of falls into that active listening topic. So, if you can't understand someone, then a very good approach or good strategy to take, and I think probably a very logical or natural thing to do, is to ask them to repeat what they said, to speak more slowly, or ask them what a particular word or phrase means. Okay? So just don't pretend to understand if you didn't catch it or didn't understand. So we have to understand first what they're saying before we can respond properly or accurately. All right. So that's the first thing. So understand what they are saying first, and then we can respond. All right. So that brings us to number 2. The second thing we need to think about is common ways or phrases to respond with. Okay. And so you will see that, or you already know some common phrases that are used to respond to certain comments or questions. And that's great. You want to keep notes of those as you find them, and maybe keep track of the different situations that you are hearing those or seeing those in. So one example may be if somebody makes a comment like we talked about, it's a nice day, isn't it? Or wow, it's a beautiful day. The comment about the weather. So, a common response to that would be, oh yes, it's a very nice day. Okay, so just something like that is just a very common response. So in that case, you would agree with that person. So agreement is a very common way to respond, a common strategy. And when you agree, you can agree in different ways as well. In that case, when somebody says it's a beautiful day, and you say yes, it's very nice, you're basically saying the same thing, but changing the word beautiful to nice. Okay, so you're just using a different word to respond. That's fine. That's a good strategy to take when you agree. So agreement is one way you can respond, and we'll go into that in more depth in the future. So another way or another strategy you can use to respond is one of the topics we talked about in a speaking skill episode, and I'll put the link in the show notes for that so you can review that if you need. And that is to use an echo word. Okay, so it's choosing the key word that the person said and make it a question. Okay, so if they say, oh, I got fired from my job today, I hope that's kind of bad news, but in that case, what is the what would you say is the kind of the key word or phrase? To me, a natural word that would stand out is fired. Okay, so you would just make it a kind of a question intonation, say, fired? And since that's kind of bad news, you would kind of act like you're shocked, and you would naturally be kind of shocked if somebody said that to you, so you don't have to act. Again, we want to be natural in our responses as much as possible, but have some strategies that can help us respond more quickly. Okay, so use that echo word. Okay, say, oh, fired? Okay, and then make a question to follow up on that. Okay, so, oh, when did that happen? Or how could this happen? Or something like that, where you follow up with a question. Or you could also follow up with a comment like, oh, that's terrible, or I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, those are just common expressions you can use in a kind of case where you hear bad news. All right, and don't worry, I'll give you an action step later that you can take to learn more of these phrases. All right, now number 3, the third thing that we need to think about when responding more quickly is practicing more. All right, so as with any kind of skill in English or speaking or listening, whatever you're doing, the more you practice, the better you will become, the more prepared you will be in a real situation, a real conversation. So we want to make sure that we are practicing as much as possible in order to develop this skill. I guess to me, that's the real answer here, is just, if you want to respond more quickly, you just have to have experience. You have to have more experience in situations that you want to respond more quickly in. In general, the more you do something, the more you repeat it, the more it will become a habit to you, the more you will be able to do it naturally. That's the key here, is we want to be able to respond more quickly, but we want to do it more naturally as well. We don't want it to seem very robotic, or planned or programmed. You know, we want to be natural, but we want to respond quickly. And the only way that I can think of to do that effectively and efficiently is to just practice a lot, like you would with anything. All right, so now that we've talked about three factors or three aspects of this topic that we need to think about, let's get into some solid action steps that you can take to help you achieve better response time in your English conversation. All right, so action step number one is in order to help you understand more and comprehend more in your listening, when you listen to people, is do dictation exercises. All right, what do I mean by dictation exercises? Excuse me. Basically, what I'm talking about is listening to some native English or whatever the target accent you're going for. For example, if you want to get good at Australian English, you want to listen to Australian English as much as possible. If you're doing American English, which is where I'm from, then you want to listen to American sources as much as you can. So choose something. It could be an interview of someone. It could be a textbook, CD. It could be a movie. But choose something that is interesting, of course, to you, but also you have a script. It's very important that you have a script that you can check what you're hearing. So when you listen the first time, don't use the script, but try to write down every word that you hear. Even if you can't understand the word, write down the sounds you're hearing. Very important, okay? And when you do that, even if you don't understand the word exactly, just write down the sounds, go back, check it with the script, and then you can see exactly what word was spoken and the sound that you heard, and then you can kind of compare it and see why you couldn't catch it and how you need to adjust your listening for the future for that phrase or word. So do dictation exercises to help you with your listening comprehension. All right, action step number 2. Now, to help you learn more common phrases and strategies to respond more quickly, one thing you can do, this is not the only thing you can do, but one thing I would recommend right now is to use, again, TV shows or movies to help you learn these phrases. All right? Now, again, you would need a script to go along with that, so make sure you have subtitles if you're using a DVD, or you can use any source on the internet. I've recommended a site before. I'll put a link in the show notes again, where you can get scripts for movies. But look at how, if you can find a natural interaction between two people, that's the best, between two people is what I find you can really learn from. And look at how they interact. Now, one thing to note in a movie or a TV show is, of course, it's pre-scripted, so they know exactly what they're going to say in real life. They know what the person's going to respond with. So in many cases in a TV show, where the time is limited, they will respond very quickly. And it may be sometimes not natural according to a real life situation. But that's okay, because we're trying to build or increase our response time here. So again, we don't want to be robotic. We don't want to just copy what we hear, but we want to make notes about, again, common phrases that you come across. And maybe if you hear someone ask a question and how they responded, you can note it down. If you hear like a comment it's kind of common that you hear it a lot, like a weather comment, or hey, did you see the World Cup last night, or whatever, something like that. How do people usually respond? So just start making notes of these kind of common patterns or phrases or words that you're hearing, and keep a notebook, and I'm going to give you a resource later to help you organize all of your notes. Again, so use movies or TV shows with a script to help you understand how people respond to each other in a dialogue. And again, I know it's not a natural, real world dialogue, but you can still learn from the ways that they communicate. And also, please check out a recent blog post I did based on a scene from Man of Steel, and you can kind of get a little sense of what I'm talking about there. Action step number 3, quickly, is to help you practice more often. All right, now there's a couple things you can do. Once you have your phrases written down in your notes, you can just practice speaking them out loud. Now again, that's not really going to help you in a natural case because it's not actually responding to anybody, but at least you can get your mouth moving, practice your mouth muscles. That's, still a valuable thing to do. But if you really want to practice with a real person, again, my number one recommendation is to get on meetup.com, find groups of people in your area. It's not going to be any easier than it is now. It's free in most cases. It depends on the group, but find groups, things that you're interested in. Groups that it could be an English-speaking group, it could be a wine tasting group. Most likely, wherever you are, there's going to be English speakers there, and that's a great place to practice speaking. So get on meetup.com right away, find a group near you, join, don't be afraid. I mean, there's other things you can do, but that's just my number one recommendation. All right, well, it's getting dark, as you can see. We're gonna have to wrap this up, but those are my 3 main action steps that you can do to help you increase your response time. And if you have any recommendations yourself that can help other people in this area, please share them with us. Leave them comments below this episode. Wherever you're watching this, leave comments, tweet me, leave a message in the Facebook group, whichever way you want to share with us, that's great. Really appreciate that. So again, just to review quickly, number 1, do dictation exercises. Number 2, study TV shows and movies to learn common phrases and strategies. And number 3, use meetup.com to find groups and other people near you who want to practice their English. All right, so I hope that'll help you increase your response time, help you respond more quickly, and let me know how it goes. Please feel free to email me anytime, al@alsensei.com. I would love to hear from you, and leave notes, leave comments in the comments section below. All right, in today's quick tip, we're gonna have to be really quick because, as you can see, the sun is going down on me. And I'm going to give you a tip here to help you organize and store all of your notes. So these could be text notes, that you type. It could be written notes. It could be audio notes. I often, record things and keep notes myself that way. These could be websites that you want to check out later. It could be blog posts, articles on the internet, almost anything. Photos, images, whatever. Videos. I'm not sure about videos, and maybe a lot of you are using this already, but it is called Evernote. And to me, this is one of the best applications that you can have on your smartphone, also on your PC. And it just will help you organize all of your notes. I'm not going to go into how to use it. There's many ways to use it. You can just find resources on YouTube or whatever to help you do that. But just go check it out and start keeping your notes there. I'd highly recommend using Evernote. It's worked great for me. I'm not such a great organizer myself, and it's helped me a lot. So go out, get Evernote, start using it. Get away from using, if you're not good with paper, you don't have to use paper anymore. Just keep it all electronic. You can take it anywhere on your smartphone or tablet, wherever you go, and you have all your notes there. All you need is to get online. And in some cases, it's offline. You don't even have to get online. So Evernote, check it out. That's my quick tip, English 2.0 quick tip for today, and have fun with that. All right, it's getting dark, so we're going to wrap this up. Thanks again for watching today. This has been episode number 29, how to respond more quickly. And again, if you have a question, please feel free to email me, ask@alsensei.com. Please, if you found this episode useful, leave comments and a rating in iTunes. That would really help other people find it. If you use Stitcher or some other podcast application, please leave comments and a rating there. I would really appreciate that. Again, in your own language, that's fine, no problem. If it's in English, that's great too. I appreciate whatever you can do and whatever amount of time you can allow me to help me achieve my personal goals for this English 2.0 podcast. And it lets me know that you guys are really interested in the podcast and you want me to continue. And once I have that kind of inspiration, I will keep making episodes for you and keep helping you in your English progress. So that is all. Getting dark, can't see my face anymore. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care. Good luck.